answer to this question, what is statism? So statism is the religion where the government is God. And I'm going to show you a picture here so you can understand it a little better. So just like how all religions, like Christianity, Catholicism, Mormonism, Muslim, etc., they have, sacred deities, they have sacred temples, they have rituals, they have worship, they have crusades, they have human sacrifice, going to war, jihads, holy wars, etc., etc. The religion of statism also has all of those exact same things that all the other religions have, and I'm going to show you right here in this picture. So we have sacred symbols, the American flag, just like how the Christians have the cross as their sacred symbol. Well, in the religion of statism, the flag is their sacred symbol. And just like how, the Christians have the Bible as their sacred text, the Mormons have the Book of Mormon as their sacred text, and there's like the Quran, other sacred texts for other religions. Well, in the religion of statism, their sacred texts are things like the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and also the Uniform Commercial Code and the U.S. Code and the Black's Law Dictionary. Those are all sacred texts for the religion of statism. The U.S. Code, the Uniform Commercial Code, all those rules, policies, statutes, codes, and city ordinances that they use to regulate you and extort you and imprison you. It's all sacred text for the religion of statism. Common prayer is also in the religion of statism. They call it pledging their allegiance, but that's how the statists pray to their God, which is the government, is they pledge their allegiance, and they do this in public school, which is actually the church of the religion of statism. And then they have, the sacred temples and monuments. Sacred temples for the religion of statism is Washington, D.C., the White House. And every single state capitol building in all 50 states, those are all religious temples. The courthouses are also religious temples, and the banks are also religious temples for the religion of statism, because in the religion of statism, remember, the government is God. The government has all the power and authority. Only the government can issue the money, but not you. You're not allowed. If you do it, it's counterfeit. They throw you in jail. But the government can do it as much as they want. And they even put in God we trust on the money, as if the government is trying to be or act as God. They are. They also have human sacrifice. All the people that die in the crusades and the war that join the army, that's a holy war, a jihad. And, just like the Muslims, that their holy war, jihad, killing in the name of Allah, well, the statists, they kill in the name of freedom, killing in the name of the government and the central banks that finance the military-industrial complex. They also have worship. When those politicians travel around and do their rallies, there was those hoorah cheerleading events like the Trump rallies. That's worshiping the deities. And, just like in the religion of statism, how they make... just like in the religion of, let's just take Catholicism, for example. Catholics worship the Virgin Mary as their deity, and they make statues of the Virgin Mary, and people bow down to the statues and pray to the statues. Well, in statism, they make statues of the presidents, Abraham Lincoln. They've even gone to a whole nother level. Beyond just making statues, they've actually carved the faces out of their deities into the side of an entire freaking mountain. It's called Mount Rushmore. You can visit. It's right here in the United States. But mystical rituals, voting is a ritual for the religion of statism, to vote your deity into power to rule over you, to tax you, to monitor you, to control you. That's all a religious ritual that people practice. And again, the church leadership, that's Congress, where they all gather around to create more code, statutes, city ordinances, and legislation to tax you and extort you. It's all a big religion. It's all a superstition, a dogma. And a lot of people in the United States, don't even know they're practicing this religion. Now, this religion is global. This religion is, it's coerced like close to 8 billion people. Way bigger than the religion of Christianity and Catholicism and Mormonism combined, pretty much. So, and this is the biggest religion in the world. And in fact, all the other religions, like the ones I was giving examples of, like Catholicism, Christianity, Mormon, Islamism, all those religions are under the jurisdiction of the states, of the government. The government, this religious entity, the state, the government, regulates all those other religions underneath it, because they all fall under their jurisdiction. Even the churches in the United States, they're corporations. The churches in the United States gain their corporate status by filling out the 501c form and sending it to the IRS, so they get these tax benefits. And let's talk about tax, because this is another religious ritual that the statists practice. Just like in Catholicism and Christianity, you have to repent and pay a penance, pay a tithing, pay a donations. They always want your money. It's all about money. Give us your money. Pay us a penance. Pay us a tithing. Pay us a donation. Well, in the religion of statism, they have to pay a tax, but it's the same thing. The statists call it a tax. The Catholics call it a penance, but it's the same shit. It's all just a big fat religion that people are practicing. And this is the most corrupt religion in the whole world. This is the most dangerous religion. It's by far, this religion causes more crimes against humanity than all the other religions combined. Because remember, all the other religions combined are under the jurisdiction of this. So they're kind of like sub-religions, but really they all trace back up to this one common source, the state, the government. And then you trace it back and you go really far back into history. Like, where did this come from? Where did this whole idea of royalty come from? Kings, queens, princes, politicians, presidents, vice presidents, which are all bloodline descendants of the 13 families that control the world, the Illuminati bloodlines. Where did they come from? They come from the Anunnaki, the Elohim, the gods of the Bible, the gods of Mormon, the Greek gods, the Atlantean gods, which are all the same. There are progenitors. And what happens if you study this stuff really far back, dating back thousands and thousands of years before the invention of Christianity, before the invention of Mormonism, before the invention of all these sub-religions, what you'll find is that all these systems of enslavement, the financial system, the government system, the tax systems, the legal systems, the agricultural systems, every system that we have, that we rely on, and that people have grown up with their whole life, that just consider normal, these were all passed on to us by the gods of the Bible, the Elohim. And again, the gods of the Bible are the same gods as the Book of Mormon, same gods as Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Atlantean mythology, Sumerian, Akkadian, and Assyrian mythology. It all traces back to these bloodlines that came down here. And they are the ones that set up these systems of government, and they're the ones that pass these systems along to their bloodlines, who know the true history of the whole world. They know about the genetic engineering that they did to us, which is what the book of Genesis in the Bible is about. Is Genesis is the genes of Isis, the genealogy of Isis, the generations of Isis, the genetics of Isis. That's why the word genes is in the word Genesis, because it has to do with the creation story, which is actually a story of gods, which aren't real gods. They're just like advanced beings that masquerade around as gods to trick people into worshiping them. They set all this up. All the religions trace back to the Anunnaki, the Elohim, the gods of Eden, the gods of the Bible. It's all a fraud. It's all a scam. It's advanced beings with a lot of knowledge and technology, including genetic engineering technology, that came to this earth world, and they took advantage of a primitive species. We are a hybrid genetic experiment of them. They genetically engineered us to be a slave species. That's why you have a social security number, which is your slave surveillance number. It's also why you have a driver's license number, a passport number, a federal tax ID number, a vehicle identification number, a QR code, and a barcode. It's how your slave masters, which is the state, keep track of you and monitor you. Just like how a farmer puts a tag in the ear of their cattle with a number on it, that's your social security number, and you are a slave. And the whole human race is actually a slave species, and they've been tricked into these religions.